Right, today we're in Berlin, just outside of Berlin at an airport where Mercedes-Benz is showing us a whole lot of things over the next 2 days about the future of trucking. But we're very privileged to have us in front of us here, Mr. Georg-Stefan Hagemann, who is the project manager, project director, the main man, the big brains behind the Future Truck that you see behind you there. This truck was launched last year in Germany. I was at the launch, and Dirk, the driver who drove today, just been for a drive with him, was the first guy to drive this truck, on an open road. And interesting is we're just outside Berlin. Come in here. I found interesting, George. We passed Tempelhof, is it? The airport. Now that airport was used,
Tegel.
Sorry?
Berlin Tegel.
Okay, now that airport was used after the Second World War, towards the end of it, to resupply Berlin by the Americans.
It was Tempelhof.
Sorry?
It was Tempelhof.
It was Tempelhof.
I missed it.
Yeah, no. You see, I know Berlin.
Yeah, you're fine.
But there was Tempelhof, and the Dakotas were supplying Berlin in those days. We flew to Germany last night in an Airbus 380. Now, I'd never thought that the Dakota would have such an advancement, or the Airbus 380 would be developed over a short period of time from the Dakota. It wasn't that long ago. And yeah, we have the same concept here. The truck of today is the Dakota of yesterday, and we are standing in front of the Airbus 380 of the future. Do you see it that way?
Yes, I think it is right, because this truck is really the truck for the future, having a truck driver on board like the pilot is on board of a plane. And we are now facing that the truck is running autonomously like the plane is doing. And that's the reason why we call it highway pilot in this future truck.
Now, there was quite a bit of skepticism at the launch. I spoke to some truck drivers there, and they said, no, it's a gimmick. What's your reaction to that? Has that changed? Is it still viewed as a gimmick, or is it reality for the future?
It is reality, like you can see here behind me. So that means it will be the very first step now to show the system is running. It's running well. It's running reliable. That's the reason why we made this prototype running. And it will be the future of the truck within the next 10 years. And that's the reason why we call it Future Truck 2025.
And I've just been for a little ride with Dirk again around, on that day we weren't able to ride in it, you were demonstrating it at the launch, but that's on the highway, and it's called Highway Pilot. I think it's important for people to realize this is not for around the suburbs and that, it's actually on highway, isn't it, to give the driver a better ease of life out there.
The very first step for us is highway, because the traffic situations on highway are less complex in comparison to those intercity or inner city. That means we will be working on this highway pilot for the next 10 years, and what's coming afterwards we will look at.
Okay, and now tell me the legislation. There's a big mountain ahead, or perhaps it's already, I think it has already, you've already started climbing that, in terms of changing legislation to allow such a vehicle on the road. But from a safety aspect and from all that, I think it's contained in the Geneva...
The Vienna Convention.
In the Vienna Convention of Traffic Safety and all that. I don't know the full word, but there's a lot of legislation to overcome.
Right.
How's it going on that?
Oh, well, we will have a lot of time to make this truck running from the technology side, but most of the time will be necessary to make the legal requirements changed in that way that the system really can support the driver, can assist the driver, and that has to be on a legal base and not only on a technology base. And this will take time to change all the regulations and to make authorities and public be aware of this truck is not a risk, this truck is a help, it's a real safe truck.
Yeah, because the Eurocombi was a concept introduced which still hasn't been fully introduced in Germany, has it? Because there was quite a lot of skepticism. That is the longer length, higher payload truck. But the public were quite skeptical of that in terms of road safety, and I know the industry had to get through a lot of politics and that. Has that been introduced yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, but it is in Scandinavia. They've gone.
In Scandinavia, it's possible to use these trucks, and in the Netherlands too. So that is a totally different point of view, because now we have a real safety system, safety assistance systems for the driver, and that's a totally different approach on what we have to look at.
So there's a different reaction from the public to this in terms of its safety and its safety on the road where they're going to be safe, rather than the longer length and the higher payload trucks. So this is more easily acceptable by the public, by the side.
Hopefully it is, yes. What we got as a feedback on this truck here was within the last months very positive from public, from society, and from customers and drivers, of course. And all what they asked us was, why do you need 10 years to get it into the market?
So they want it in quicker.
Yes.
Well, that's very positive. There's a truck driver shortage throughout the world. I know Europe is experiencing, America has a huge shortage. In South Africa, we have a chronic shortage of truck drivers. Do you think this will serve to attract drivers into the industry?
Hopefully, yes, because now it may be more attractive to run a truck because you're not only a truck driver like you have been until now. You now have to be more a transport manager, and you have now a 100% connected truck which you can run. So that means we hopefully will approach more younger people to come as a truck driver into the job.
Yeah, because it's an industry-wide global problem, that isn't it? Is it a problem in Germany?
Yes, it's a big problem. Yes,
that's a big problem. So that could also alleviate that.
Yep.
Make trucking sexy. Eh? That's what.
Yeah, maybe that way. Yes.
And I think where your important point is this is not to get rid of the driver.
That's right.
I think just enlarge on that for me a bit.
We want to keep the driver in the truck because the driver is a communication guy to the customer. Whenever the truck is running on the customer's area, there is no driver coming out of the truck to hand over the papers you need. Who is doing that? So that we are really facing, we want to keep the driver in the truck and we want to keep him in a safer and a comfortable, more comfortable way like it is today.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You are a visionary. Mercedes-Benz in this case is a visionary. You know, when they thought putting man on the moon, I suppose we all thought a bit skeptical. They're probably having lunch up there today and we don't even know about it. That's how common it is. The cell phone, which was often viewed as skepticism. It's a common thing. We can't live without it now. And my wish for you in the future, with your vision and with your whole team, I know it's a whole team spirit, is that we can't live without this truck in the future.
You can see it now, and hopefully it will be in serious production within the next 10 years. So that's the future is living now.
Okay, well, one last question. When we're getting it in South Africa, huh?
In 10 years.
Okay. I just need to ask you, with your whole project team, are you any specialists in paint?
No.
Could you find some, and then send us some paints and brushes so we can just paint the lines on the road first as a start to getting your truck in, okay? Because it does read the lines on the road, and we'll need to jack that up a bit before we get it in.
Would be a good idea.
Devin, God bless you, my friend, and thank you for hosting us here, and all the very best into the future, and just a huge congratulations. I've just shook the man who is enormous visionary, and we need people like this in the world to take us into the future and better things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.